you. Did anyone watch on HBO the Billy Joel documentary? It's very good, in case you're wondering.
And that's how we start off Triple T on a Tuesday night. Talk time with TJ number 202, 202 of these get-togethers. Rocking and rolling. My name is TJ Zebel. I call myself a professional problem solver, which I always follow up with, no, I don't know everything. I will never claim to know everything. I just have a unique way of asking questions and helping people find the solutions to the challenges they're facing. Got all sorts of stuff that been coming around these days with all these changes, turning the clocks back an hour and losing 6 hours of sunlight. What's that all about? So I don't understand math, stuff like that, but here we are, and we got people who are still trying to figure out what time it is. And then you got states like Arizona that were smart enough. Hey, we got Guillermo joining us for the first time. That's awesome. And we are live on YouTube, which means I get to say, hi, Mom, up in Minnesota, then, yeah, up in the cold, frosty area. Even got Nancy up there from the North Country. So, for those of you up in the North Country, I hear from Farmer's Almanac and Ryan Hall, y'all, and everything. Y'all are set up for a good snow dusting this year.
Yes, we are.
Like beyond what we've seen in quite a while. So hope your snow blowers are tuned up and your roof rakes are where you can find them and in good shape. And people.
What do you call them? A roof rake?
A roof rake.
A roof rake, okay.
Roof rake, yes. You know what
we say
roof rake.
I was just going to say, I'm sure that people down south are like, a roof rake? You're raking the roof? Yes, if you're from the North Country, you know what a roof rake is in the wintertime. Where we at? We are YouTube back again. For those of you that are on YouTube or watching the recording for the first time, please do me all of the YouTube favors. Click the subscribe button and ring the bell. Click the like, leave comments, share this with others. All that stuff doesn't cost you a dime, but it sure helps me out. And it's not like I'm making any money on it right now, but I'm doing this to help other people. So if you know anybody that could use some of the information that we are laying down here, please pass it on. What else? Got a website I'd like you guys to also pass around. Check out all the above at thetswb.com. thetallskinny-white-boy.com. That's what it stood for since I was a young lad in Minnesota, way before the internet. So if you see anything else, that's not me. I am the tall, skinny white boy, and I am he, and he am I, and all the above. And there you're going to find out some of the stuff that I do, a little bit about my past. If you click the About Me tab, you'll find a 6-page PDF of all the different things that I've done, some of my certifications, some of the classes that I teach. So if anything on there interests you, please reach out, because I also offer a free 30-minute consultation. That's right, no cost to you. Our chance to chit-chat a little bit, see what's going on, what kind of challenges you're up against. And after we've chatted, if I feel like I'm a good fit, I will let you know. And also, I promise you, if I feel we are not a fit, I will let you know, and I will do my best to make sure that you find the right person to get the solutions that you are looking for. Let's see. Got that done. Time for introducing the tie of the week. That's right, it is the tie of the week. I started this back in the very first episode of 24. Found out I have a lot of ties, but I'm also always open and welcome to new ones. I don't. This one, been quite a while. I'm sure you guys recognize that dude right there. Mm-hmm.
Roadrunner! Woo woo!
Yeah,
Beep beep!
That's not Roadrunner. That's Donald Duck.
That was Roadrunner.
Not Donald Duck. The Daffy Duck.
The Daffy
Scooby Doo.
Oh,
That is definitely
yeah.
Daffy Duck.
That's Daffy. Oh man.
I'm 1,000% sure it's a duck.
I'm looking at a little window. It's like this big. I'm like, it's the Roadrunner. I can see the speed. No, it's the baseball.
Although now I have a funny reel to send to you.
And I forgot to introduce, what day is it?
When you said it was 2:02, that's what I was
Oh.
saying. I said 2:02 on.
On, thank you. It's 2:02 on 11/11. And for all the veterans out there, if you come to my house, you will quickly notice I have a flag in not only on the fence of my front yard by the road. I've got the American flag, the Texas flag, and the MIA flag. And I also have a flag in every room of my house and a flag in my shop. And those don't fly because of the wind. They fly because of the people that have put in the oath, took the time, put their lives on the line. All gave some gave all. And that doesn't go light in my house. So blessings to all of you. And on with the show. At 6:06 my time, we have anybody got any cool things to share from the last 7 days since we were here? Yes, no, maybe so. Anybody?
I'm in Park City, Utah
Park City, Utah.
for the next month and a half or a month or so.
Yeah?
And then we just went to a Miss Natural Olympics in Las Vegas. Our girlfriend took first in a couple different divisions and didn't face the final, but she did very, very well. It was her first time in the Olympia, which is cool. And Lunch Money Club on TikTok is kicking butt. We went from about 100 followers to now 17, almost 1,800. So if you get a chance, follow Lunch Money Club on TikTok. We
Very
appreciate
cool.
all the love from everybody here. And Mark, giving you good vibes. I see looks like you're home now, so healthy, happy. That's big. And just
Thank you. Thank you. I'm on the mend.
yes.
Very cool. Anybody else got something they'd like to share to start the evening off on a positive note? Lenora.
Well, I had really good insights, but I can save them for hour 2.
Hour 2, good.
Hour 2.
I've also heard Greg is maybe coming on with some good topics for hour 2 as well.
Interesting.
So,
Look at that.
yes, just like that, I speak his name and on he shows. So,
Yes.
Speak
what
of the
power?
demon, and you see his horns.
Here on 11/11.
Uh-huh.
Very cool. We were just going over anything anybody wants to share that's cool from the last 7 days. I don't know if you've got anything you want to throw out there before we get rolling. Get to rolling. Ah, rolling.
I just woke up, so a little sleepy.
Tough times in San Diego, I can tell.
Yeah, it's tough.
Must
Yep.
be the weather. Oh, that's right. You guys don't have weather.
It's getting
Oh, I know.
cold. It's like down to 70, I think.
Uh-huh. I remember those days.
Uh,
All right,
any
well,
pauses. Okay.
if nobody's got any, yes, Nancy.
I'm still employed. We had a big layoff. They laid off 150 people, and they had 100 more do early retirement. So I'm still employed.
Yay.
Amen.
I'm excited about that.
Hey,
Very excited for you.
that's always we're here for you. Anybody else before we jump into the topics? I forgot to explain, for those of you that are watching for the very first time, watching the recording for the very first time, the way this works, it's a 2-hour show. The first hour, I do my best to get through 3 topics that I picked for the week. And then the second hour, things change up, and anybody on the call can bring up a topic or a question. It's open mic. And I allow everybody on the call to answer first, because I like to learn as well. And after everybody's answered, if I feel like there's still something that I can add, that's when I throw in my 2 centavos. So let's get it rolling without any further ado. Topics for 202 on 11/11: seasons, reflecting forward, and stupid price. Yeah. So, seasons. And if you've been around Planet TJ for a while, you know that I have a way of using words in lots of different ways. And seasons is one of those. We, except for those of us that live in San Diego, where the seasons are
One.
summer and, well, kind of like summer, but we're back to summer. If you're from anywhere northern half of the United States, you understand seasons really well. Coming from Minnesota, I know. In Minnesota, there's a lot of different seasons up there. There's all the sports seasons. Then there's all of the hunting seasons. Then there's the 2 seasons of road construction and not road construction. One is shorter than the other, significantly. And then there's the typical summer, fall, winter, spring. And when you think of that as a metaphor, a lot of people go through the same thing as well. If you were to look back on your life, you could label certain things that you've gone through, certain times that you've went through by different seasons. I know a lot of people right now seem to be going into almost spring season, ironically. It's like after the scamdemic, everybody kind of dropped down into a winter for a while. And things just got cold and miserable and mucked up and all the above, and things are starting to thaw out. And we're awakening. Spring is the new possibilities, the new blooms, the new all the above. Trees are getting their leaves back, but there's also stuff like bears coming out of hibernation. Oh, what a friendly bunch they are. And so when we get people that are coming out of these, I don't know, was it last week that we talked about? That's why I keep the notes. Yeah, suicidal empathy. We talked about it last week. And I've had a few of my clients that have gotten to spend some time going through this, thinking about it, and realized the amount of suicidal empathy that they have been living through. And my one client, a lot of time, well, as you know, Triple T, a lot of my stuff comes from working with my clients. And so when my one client and I were talking about that and talking about we're heading into winter, and they actually said, I feel like I'm coming out of winter. But it also brought about, if you live up in the north, I've always had this joke, what's the coldest part of winter? And it's the front side of winter. Pretty much anywhere you live, the coldest part of the year is the front side of winter. If you're from Minnesota, yeah, 40 degrees is still not comfortable. It's still not enjoyable. That first 40-degree day, you're like, oh, yeah. But on the backside of winter, that first 40-degree day, tank top, shorts, flip-flops out, sweeping the slush off the sidewalk, going, what a great day. Look at the sun. Isn't this wonderful? Pretty soon we're going to have flowers. We're going to have everything. I got to start planting my garden. Oh, my goodness. Because we've made it through that long, cold winter. And again, just like what we're doing now, it's been little over 5 years since the scamdemic got slammed down on us and changed so many things. And now we get to come out of it finally. And people are finally starting to thaw out a little bit. And people are, it never really affected me. Yeah, well, you know what? There are evergreen trees that make it through Minnesota and they never drop their leaves. They're always green. And then you got the mighty oak who gets buck naked right about November, December, maybe even October. That's where you get those beautiful Halloween pictures of the trees with nothing on them. Throw in a full moon creeping through it and a little bit of cold wind, and yeah, freak you out. The kind of stuff that therapists love, because parents got to put in scary dreams in their children. Headless Horseman and all the great stories and all of the wonderful things that Hollywood has given us therapists to undo. I love the look on people's faces when I point out to them that arachnophobia wasn't a thing 200 years ago. Fear of sharks wasn't hardly nearly as evident before the sound of dun 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. And everybody within a certain age bracket knows exactly what that is. That's when all the great white sharks were man-eaters and needed to be hunted down. And all of their kids and grandkids just realized why grandma and grandpa, mom and dad are scared of sharks. Well, isn't everybody? Not before that show. They respected them. They were like, shark, yeah, we should get out of the water. But after that movie, Shark, whole beach screaming, people racing out of the water, only to find out it was a piece of trash. False alarm. Oopsie. But I got a question for you guys. If you were to take your timeline and expand it and understand that, seasons go through and we go through the seasons in a pattern, what season are you guys in right now?
That is a good question. I don't necessarily see it as years. I'll see it in weeks. Like, oh, this is what I'm really focused on for the next 6 weeks, or like this is the phase that I'm in for these like 4 weeks or whatever it is. I don't see it as months or anything like that. Mine are definitely weeks. Weeks where I'm really out and weeks when I'm really closed off.
Yep. And when I look back on my life, I realize that I've had some extended winters. And growing up in Minnesota, I also realized that even though there's 4 seasons, respectively, according to weather and all that stuff, in Minnesota, it can seem like it's summer, fall, winter, winter, still winter, spring, summer. And it's not balanced out like that. And when I look back in my life, I've had a few of those too, where long winter and really quick spring, and I was into summer. And summer would last for a while, and all of a sudden it felt like fall, like things were changing, and things seemed like they were either slowing down or going a little downhill. And then I went into that cold frost, uncomfortable area. And then I had a couple where spring seemed to last for quite a while. There were a lot of options, a lot of things going on. And summer, to me, is kind of like that balanced, finally got a routine, things are leveled out, kind of figuring things out. I know a few people in Minnesota, they got into summer and they just, summer. Worked at the same job for 20 plus years. And then I've also known some people that, man, they just spent 20 years in winter. And you just feel bad for them. You're just like, some of those people that, wow, if they could just get a break. And so again, if you were to take out your timeline from the time you were born up until today and spread it out, could you see partitions of seasons through your life? And based on that, what do you want to see in the future? Mark?
Well, no, following the exercise, the seasons have been of my life have been, there's always, like you said, the beginning is the rough part, but when you spread out the timeline, you can always find something to remember that was fun, with and people used to have, picture boxes, like, little old ladies that pull out the pic and from different seasons. And I was looking at some pictures today. I find some pictures of a friend of mine. And, we have having different seasons, different pictures, cookouts in the summer, going to see, putting my kids going to Edaville Railroad, going to see Santa. Every season has its positive things. And I think that, and all those pictures I was going through today reminded me that no matter what the season, there was always some good to remember. There was no matter what the season, there was like a good picture to go along with it, and and I think that's why people used to take Polaroids and things like that. And I got a picture of my wife on her wedding day with kind of blur. They blurred the picture of how beautiful she was, and then I had another picture of her, poised on the my old Trans Am. She was on the hood. Again, different seasons of our lives. The life you build together, I think, is a bunch of different seasons, a bunch of different pictures, and I think we lost that, and we lost being able to have all those pictures and be able to go through them and see the different seasons.
Yes. No, big time. As a person who used to own a photography studio, and I've got the old, now that you've got a camera in your pocket and you can put 7,000 pictures on there, but how many have you printed out? The wife and I went to Yellowstone. I've got some amazing photos that are still on my phone. And after getting kicked off of Facebook, I can't even share them on there. So, yes, taking the photos and tracking all of that is important as well, because if you're wondering what Minnesotans do, some of us in the wintertime just watch grumpy old men. The lake freezes over, turns into a city, little shanties all over the place, little villages all over the lake, snowmobiling, skiing. And I just before we started, I pointed out that the Farmer's Almanac, which I hear they're gonna stop printing now. Like, yeah, really? But for as accurate as the Farmer's Almanac has been for all this time, they're going to quit making it. But this year, the Farmer's Almanac and many other weather predictors are stating that the North Country is going to get a good old-fashioned slamming of snow. What are you going to do with it? What type of a winter, even knowing that winter is coming, how are you preparing for winter? And how are you going to enjoy winter, or are you going to hibernate like a bear? Holly.
It's no coincidence. It's funny. This was actually a topic I was thinking about a lot this week. Because I was walking around seeing the beautiful fall is my favorite season. Not that it lasts very long, but I was just seeing all the beauty. And I just kind of had this thought of, how much work are these plants going to? What is it like for them to go through all this change, all this preparation? This is also when you get to harvest everything. It's a necessary preparation, because if they didn't go through this, they wouldn't be ready for winter, was one thought I was having. But the other thought I had is, how many of us in our life get to our fall And we're so focused on the change and the difficulty of the change that we don't take a moment to take a step back and realize how beautiful it all is.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, exactly. And one of our viewers on YouTube in Minnesota, Dave, texted me saying it was 52 here today. Minnesota nice. Now, if you're in the middle of summer, 52 is not nearly as a happy time as it is in late fall. Lenora.
I'm going to go with it depends on what season you're having and what do you consider that season to be. Hilariously, I don't know where I must be in a winter then if I'm thinking it's slow and dreary. So I'm in a winter and can't enjoy the winter because I am just losing bananas over what other season is in store and things like that, which we'll talk about in hour two. But it would depend on how you define it. And even can't stop and look around how beautiful it was. I legitimately had a person tell me today that I needed to relax more, which I thought was hysterical. It's like, now's not the time to be telling me this.
Yeah, and it's still knowing that it's coming or knowing that you're entering that season. It's another time of work. You know, I know that the people in the North Country know that it's time to get ready. You can sit there and hope all you want that the snow won't come and that it's going to be a 50-degree winter. No. So, is the house ready? Is the furnace ready? Are the hoses put away? Is everything prepped for the winter that is coming up?
I feel like there's like a Tony Robbins comment in here because every one of his reels is like, winter is coming, winter is coming.
Winter's coming. And the nice thing is, you also get to plan and prep for spring during the winter. And you still get to decide how miserable are you going to be during the winter time. You get to decide. It's coming. It's going to be there regardless. But there are plenty of ways to enjoy it. You can sit there and plan out what you're going to do in the springtime. I know a few people that are into gardening, and they're getting the garden planned out in like December. They're buying their seeds in January, February, and they're starting a little greenhouse in whatever patch of room they can find, so that soon as spring lets them, they're off and running. And the laid-back gardeners are like, oh, you're already harvesting stuff? Man, I just bought some seeds. So how are you planning that portion? Mark?
Yeah, I don't remember the reference, but I do enjoy powerful phrases. And this came out of a book somewhere, and it's fairly famous. I don't know if anybody gets the reference. It would probably be Holly, but the phrase was, "Now is the season of our discontent." Might be Shakespeare, but not sure. But what does that mean? The season of our discontent. Are we going to, start tilling for or preparing for the next season but yeah, I thought that was that squirrel brought me that,
Yes,
that phrase, and I was like, oh, that's an interesting one. I should bring that up. The season of our discontent.
exactly. And again, the power of words. And what are we going to do if we're in it, but we can't completely control it? Lenora.
Well, sorry.
Oh,
It is Shakespeare. Okay, so I've never thought about it from this perspective, so I'm finding this very interesting. You could then say, for example, I don't like winter unless I'm having a blizzard with internet access. Let me just add that very specific underline. Don't mind the snow as long as I have electricity and power and internet. I love how Mark's laughing because he knows it's so true.
And heat.
And look, he's nice. I'm a fan. I'm a big fan. But in thinking of the seasons, now my perspective is shifting a little bit because normally I think of it as like a go, go, go versus a still and waiting and not enjoying this part. Guys, I'm not a waiter. Like, I don't like waiting. I'm very impatient, in case you haven't noticed this about me. So how do you think about this differently? Because people would say like, okay, we'll do something in the meantime, but it's not doing what I had anticipated to be doing. Okay, apparently hour 2 is coming out for me. It's not doing what I had anticipated. So how do you manage this? How do you regulate it?
well, I think you just pointed out a good portion of it is understanding that winter is not frozen solid lack of movement. Again, even the evergreens stay green, and there's still plenty activity. But you have to understand it's just a different energy, a different aura, a different time of the seasons. Spring is coming.
But sometimes it feels like you don't know when it's going to come.
There it is.
But like, it could be a winter for like 6 months. It could be a winter for 6 days.
Exactly. It's what you do with it. It's the attitude, the outlook that you have. Like I said, we all know that person who is always in spring. Sometimes it gets annoying. They are always in spring. Oh, everything's blooming, everything's beautiful, and you got the people that are always in summer. They've got that sunny disposition, even keel, all the above. They're just blessed with it. Like San Diego. Oh my gosh, we've had the weather. Oh, yes, I get it. You got rain, the sidewalk got wet. We will rebuild. And then you got Minnesotans, you're like, my car is somewhere under that pile over there. I know I parked it there. You can't see it. I'm hoping that I'll get it out in a couple of days. And the boss is calling, going, can you be here by 10? Yeah, literally, Nancy will verify. You will see people driving down the road to work with this much snow on top of their car because they didn't have time or strength or anything above. As long as you can see a little bit in front of you, a little bit behind you, and everybody knows that everybody's driving on the same stuff, and you just want to get to work. And then when you get to work, you hope that the weather will allow you to get back home because you don't want to have to camp out at work for a week. Well, you got that winter coming, so good luck. But even then, I remember winters of having to go up to the mechanic shop when the snow was up to my waist, and I'm 6 foot, and that's in the middle of the road, in the middle of the street. When I got up to the shop, a big mechanic shop, the only way I knew where the door was is because I knew the building. The snowdrift was about 3 to 4 feet above the man door. And there I am with a shovel, digging a cave to find a door to plop my butt into a building that is totally engulfed in snow. It was winter. You do what you gotta to get through it. But the other thing about that kind of winter, and those from the North Country will let you know, when it's snowing like that and you go outside, it's a silence, a quiet that is very hard to replicate. If it's not a blowing, nasty blizzard, if it's just snow coming down, it is so quiet and so peaceful. That could be your winter as well. Time to sit back, meditate, plan for spring, get things figured out. Holly.
So one thing that I keep thinking about, so I know multiple different kinds of people, obviously, but one kind of person I know loves every single season, and they get so excited with every season. So winter's coming. Oh my gosh, I get to go do all of my, skiing and my snowboarding, and, I get to go snow caving, and I get to go, they love that. And then the summer comes. Oh, it's amazing. The summer's coming. I get to go mountain biking out in the cliffs. And, I don't know how people do that, but they do. And every single season, they make the most of it. They love every single season. And then I know people who are the opposite of that. And they spend every single minute in summer saying, oh, it's so hot. I can't wait till the summer's over. And then the winter comes. Oh, it's so cold and wet. I can't wait till the winter's over. And it just kind of reminded me, it's a really strange, analogy, but that movie Click came into my mind, where basically he gets into the habit, kind of a little bit of spoiler here, but he gets in the habit of fast forwarding through the parts he wants to skip. And the next thing you know, he's been fast forwarding so much he keeps accidentally fast forwarding through the good points in life.
Yep.
So are we taking a moment to enjoy every single moment because every single moment can have beauty? Or are we always waiting for the next thing because we can't appreciate what we currently have?
There it is. The whole topic wrapped up in one beautiful little present. That's what I'm talking about.
Yep.
The seasons change whether you're up for it, want it, or not. Can you enjoy it? Again, those of you that have known me long enough know I've been through a few seasons. But I knew that I can't stop the rain, so I might as well learn how to enjoy dancing in the puddles. I can't stop the snow, so I might as well learn how to ski or toboggan or all the above. I can't stop summer, but I can learn how to ride motorcycle. Mark.
The whole idea that, again, we have these seasons and, we're always trying to predict, how long the season is going to last. And, we're instead of enjoying the moment, like you guys have been saying, being here now. But, again, our tendency as human beings is to try to predict when the next season is going to come along, and then what am I going to do in the next season is going to be cool, and the truth of it is that these prognosticators, they don't know. They just, they make an educated guess and they're wrong about 90% of the time. But as long as they say it with certainty, yeah, it's going to have 6 feet of snow tomorrow. Um, you know, then tomorrow and it's bright and sunny and there's no snow, they're like, oh, well, we're going to, they don't even bother apologizing because as long as they say it with certainty, we're willing to buy into it. But we're always trying to predict things. And as a group, we're lousy at prediction. We don't know the stock market, the weather, you name it, the economy. We're not very good at predicting at prediction, but doesn't stop us from trying. And like even the guys, like I listen to the same guy you do, TJ, and I want to get that prediction. Even if he's 100% wrong, he's been wrong for the last 4 years running. We still need that prediction.
Yep. Because we want to have we want to have certainty, even if we know it's not certain.
The feeling of certainty
Yeah.
is a great one.
Lenora.
What about going through seasons during your day? Like
I've
for
had
some
those.
of us, we're going to go hibernate. So technically,
Yep.
and some of us like to nap. So technically, that's like winter in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's why I brought this up because, again, we know people that are always in winter all day long. They wake up in winter.
Very interesting.
It's
Good
true. I
topic,
find
TJ.
every part of the day it's different. If you're really paying attention and you're present, every moment is different. The vibration is different, temperature is different. You can hear early in the morning people on the freeway, going to work, starting at like 4:30, 5 a.m., right? Then it switches into mid-morning, late morning. It's never static, even if it might seem that way. There's always shifts happening that can be enjoyed.
I was going to say, what did TJ say? Things happening beneath the surface?
Yes.
I
Yep.
agree, Duncan.
Yeah, absolutely. Always.
Still waters run deep.
Yeah.
There's always some movement, something
Yep.
up.
Yep.
And that leaves us with 13 minutes left to try and get to it. I love this. With your guys' permission, I'm going to bounce right into the next topic so we can maybe talk. We touched on it for about 45 seconds last week, and that's reflecting forward. And I wanted to tie this in with seasons because here we are, November 11th, and it's almost time to start talking about them New Year's resolutions. Yes, we're going to wait till one day of the year to decide that we're going to do something different with our lives. Instead of choosing like, I don't know, Tuesday or Thursday or right now. And yet, so many people took the time, made those promises again, and I brought this up, I think, in March as well, because March seemed to be one of, about that area where the resolute of the resolution kind of petered out. It's kind of like, well, spring's over, we're into summer, we got other things to do. And that garden I thought I was going to plant, well, the seeds are still in the pack at the store. Maybe next year. So when you start looking at the 6 weeks we got left in 25, Where do you see yourself? How are you doing on what you had anticipated? When can you start your new thing? Do you really need to wait till January 1? Oh, but it's 1/1. Yeah, right now we're at 1/1/11. Great day to start new stuff. Lenora.
This goes so perfectly with my question for hour 2. When you're forward and you're looking forward and you now have thought, well, I'm not doing any of the things that I thought I was going to be doing. And your brain is going a little banana peels about it. How do you manage? What do you do about it?
Mhm.
I know what I've been doing. I'm just very curious as to what everybody else has been doing.
Well, I'm going to put everybody on hold for 10 minutes because that's a great
Okay.
question for hour 2. You're correct. But added to that, how many of you know where the area that you wrote that stuff down is? What book is it in? What is it in the day planner that you got for the year? And is it on January 1? Is it written in before there? And how many of you were working on that and life said, plot twist, left turn, and you realized that it was a good idea last mid-December. And then about the end of spring, the reality of summer hit. Plot twist, left turn, and here we are, November. Is that plan still worth salvaging? Were you right in letting it go and moving on to other things? What things have popped up in the last 4, 6, 8 weeks that you thought, wow, that'd be a good idea. I should do that. Well, what's holding you back? Well, it's not January 1st yet. And if it's good enough to think that you're going to do it on January 1st, why isn't it good enough to start on Thursday? And don't think I'm above this. I am not. That's how I know to talk about it, because I looked at some of the ideas that I had put down on 01/01/25 and still have the round to it sitting on the shelf. Even though I've done quite a bit this year, those round to it's are still sitting there. And I had to, when I looked at it, I evaluated a couple of them and went, yeah, that seemed like a good idea at the time, and I'm glad I didn't invest the resources into trying it. And then there were a couple other ones that I'm like, I should still get around to it. Well, it's right there. And I don't have to wait till January 1st again. Holly.
Just a quick thought too with the garden analogy. I love that. How many of us are trying to grow the garden we think we should grow, and we've got a bunch of seeds out there we love to grow that just excite us. Maybe we'd love to have flowers and we'd love to have strawberries, but instead we think we have to plant vegetables. Take a moment and just say, you know what? I can grow any garden I want. And if it lights me up, I'm going to grow it. Who cares what somebody thinks I should be growing?
And how many of us are trying to grow items that don't grow in the region that we're in? As in the life part of the timeline that we're in, the resources that we are in, is the ground fertile? Is the weather temperament good for this type of a crop? Are there things that we need to add to the soil to make sure that it grows? Mark.
Well, few random thoughts. First of all, my dad actually had I found it in his when we were going through his things after he passed. There was a little round wooden disc, and it was a round to it.
Yep. Yep.
And I don't know where he got it, but they always used to carry that with them. Yeah, I'll get around to it. That was the funny one. The profound one was someone smarter than me once said, one measures a circle beginning anywhere. So when can you start? Anywhere. Like I said, I posed this to one of my clients today. I said, when I meet you next week, I want you to think about, where you want to be, November, 2026. And what do you want to be able to look back on and say that you've accomplished, and that putting it forward. But you can start today. You can, like I said, it's, again, because one measures a circle beginning anywhere.
Yes. In fact, one of my clients that I worked with within the last week is set to retire or graduate Triple P, the Perfect Partner Protocol. And I was reflecting, asked them, what have you learned in the last year? And they just started listing off some of the most beautiful stuff. And I said, can you believe it's almost been an entire year? They're like, wow, no. And I said, and you didn't even start on January 1. You started on a Tuesday before the end of the year. And 365 days still went by. And you worked at it, and you learned, and things happened, and you learned, and you got experiences, and you grew. All because you made a decision on a Tuesday that wasn't in January. Once again, proving you can pick any day of the year to start. The trick is you actually have to start. You have to have a goal in mind. You have to have a way to track your process, your progress. Are you getting anywhere closer to your goal? What is your goal? What are the steps to get to your goal? If you don't know all 28 steps, can you see the next step? So many people suffer paralysis by overanalysis. But I have to, you don't understand. I gotta know every 28 steps so that I can figure out the whole plan, and I gotta have a timeline, and I gotta have it. And meanwhile, the person over here goes, okay, what's my next step? Okay, I got that done. What's the next step? And in 6 months, they've passed 28 steps, while the other person is still back at step 1, waiting to see the list of all 28 steps before they can start. Well, how am I going to know if I'm going to be able to do it if I don't see all 28 steps? It ain't going to matter anyway, because you're not going to be the same person at step 7.
Yep.
Both of you started at the exact same place. The person that passed step 28 was completely different from you at step 6. Thank God they didn't know what step 28 was. They would think that step 6 wasn't necessary. Well, look at how much I've changed. I don't have to get to 28. So again, here we are, top of the hour. Made it through 2 topics. Stupid price will have to come up later. But for those of you that joined us late and you're wondering what's going on, here's where the other side of Triple T happens. Hour number 2 is open platform, open mic. Anybody on the call can bring up a question or a topic, and I let anybody on the call answer first because I, again, love to learn. And if after everybody that's going to answer has answered, and I feel there's something I can add, that's when I add my 2 centavos. And we already know that we got people that have questions and topics for hour number 2. So who's going to grab the reins and take off? Come on.
Do I have something?
I did. I asked it.
Yes.
You all can answer now.
You want to repeat it?
When your plan isn't going as planned and you have a couple of plot twists and a couple of left turns, how do you manage? I know how I've been managing, and I will share that insight with you afterwards. But what are some things that you do that are super, super effective?
Great question. Who's got an answer for Lenora?
Standard.
Holly.
I'll answer a few things. First of all, full disclosure, sometimes I handle it well and sometimes I handle it horribly. So, there's the entire range.
So you're human.
Right. But some of the things that so I've had people use the driving analogy for me a lot. In talk about the journey of life. And I just kind of was thinking, if you're driving and you come across a detour, do you stubbornly sit there and say, that's not the direction I was going to go? I'm just going to sit here parked until you stop your construction and you let me through, even though the road's completely torn up. I'm not going to go a few blocks out of my way. I'm going to sit here and let it ruin my day. Or do you say, you know what? There's a plan here. It may not be amazing that I ran into a detour, but there's a place I'm supposed to go. It's already been planned out, and I'm just going to follow it until I get there. Or also another thing is sometimes on our journey, we think we're going to place A. So like, just to make it simple, say you're going to the grocery store and you want to buy something and you get there and they don't have it. Okay, well, there are other grocery stores. There are other stores that are not grocery stores. Do I have to let this ruin my day? Do I say, you know what? Now I've eliminated what doesn't work. And now it's time to move on to the next step. It's time to pick up and say, you know what, maybe there's something even better out there. Maybe I didn't even know about my final destination. I couldn't see it. It's so, a lot of this is going to come from, like Matthew Hussey kind of analogies. But one of the things he talks about is, maybe your journey is to climb a mountain and you get on the wrong mountain, but you don't know it's the wrong mountain. So what do? You climb up it. Well, now you can see the other mountain. Now you can see up higher. Now you know exactly where you're supposed to be. And what if there's a bridge from the mountain to the other mountain? Nothing's ever lost. Every single step you took in your journey, you learned something, and you don't have to, you don't have to stubbornly say, well, at the bottom of the mountain, this was my goal. This is all I could see. You can say, you know what? Now I've got better vision. Now I've got better understanding. And maybe the goal that I'm supposed to be going for is a million times better than what I could even have imagined or seen at the beginning. And that's okay. And if the journey has some twists and turns, that's also okay too. I'm going to have the scenic route, and I'm going to learn from every minute of it, and I'm going to transmute it into something beautiful. And once again, like I said, I'm not saying I do this every single time, because I also have my stubborn, I'm going to sit there and I get a detour and I'm going to just sit there and cry and yell and say, how dare you give me a detour? Or I'm going to say, no, I don't care if it's a beautiful ending that I'm going to. I don't care if I'm learning things that I can pass forward. I don't care if I'm blazing a trail so that other people can follow. Right this minute, I'm pissed that it's hard, and I'm pissed that I'm not going where I'm supposed to go. And you know what? It's okay to have that reaction too and let it process, just as long as you don't stay in it. And as long as you learn from that part of the process too, because that's how you teach others and that's how you learn.
Love that. And another question came up. Thank you. I wrote several of them down.
Mark.
Sometimes, when you have you make up a plan and when you have certain steps, but you can't, you get to that second or third step, and it all of a sudden the destination changes, the view changes. And I've always come from the point of view that, okay, I'll figure it out, and that just gives me a reboot on the plan. And there've been frustrations this year, there've been challenges, there've been life lessons, and every time I go through one of those periods, I'm like, and it's not this, the next step doesn't seem like the right step anymore. You get frustrated by it, but my response to that is, okay, I'll figure it out, and that's what you have to tell yourself. Okay, I'll figure, go, and I tell myself, go figure it out, and just that way like Holly said, every step along the journey is a journey of discovery and rediscovery. And but I just tell myself, I got to figure it out. And there've been so many plot twists and left turns every year, but this year maybe a little bit more so. But I'll figure it out.
Yep.
That's how I tell myself.
You got your tribe behind you. Renee.
Yeah, I'm going to take more of an engineering approach to it. First thing I do is just kind of step back and reassess everything that's come up, that has happened or occurred up to that point. Weigh your risks and benefits for all of your options, and then step back and ask what you're married to. Are you married to the final destination or product? Are you married to how it's done? Who is involved? What the final product looks like? When it's supposed to happen? And why? Is there a why behind it? Like the reason that you're so empowered by it is, maybe the why is to solve cancer, obviously if you were a doctor, but why are you doing it? And kind of step through it that way.
Great answer.
I love all of those answers. And another question came up as all of that was coming. What?
Before you ask another question, can I throw in a couple of things quick?
Of course.
No.
When you asked that, it reminded me, and you guys know this well enough, of Triple P. What's a plot twist left turn for most of my clients going through Triple P? Best ever! Oh, this is the one! But as they keep growing and evolving, all of a sudden that person is no longer the best ever. Plot twist left turn. You also have to reflect on yourself. What has changed in you as you're making the journey and things change or fall apart. When Mark made his comment, what popped up for me was birds don't worry about the strength of the branch because they trust their wings.
Mm-hmm.
You watch birds fly around, man, some of the stuff they land on, they land on a branch and it's like, woo, woo, woo. They don't consider it a failure. They're just like, ah, bad branch, and off they go to the next one. So with the combination of trust in your growth, if it turns out that it was just the best so far, move on to the next opportunity. Oh, that door is shut. Don't keep beating on the shut door. Look around the room. There's always at least one door open. Unless you're absolutely pessimistic. Then you got the people that just stand there with their nose on the door going, I know I was supposed to go through this one. Why is life so unfair? Oh my gosh, this sucks. I'm never going to be.
Which leads me to my next question. As you all were talking, I'm like, okay, no, I'm realizing like I'm not so much the problem. My problem is, what do you do about the people that are around you that are saying the sky is falling?
Oh, who's
How
got
do you
answer for
manage that?
one?
Bless them.
Great answer.
Say thank you.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to think a little more about.
Thank them for attempting to assist you, and then do what you're going to do. Make the next best decision for yourself.
Thank you for helping assist.
Everybody,
Trying to assist.
everybody wants to help, right? Whether they know it or not. They want to help, and they see somebody struggling, and they want to offer something to give them some peace or comfort or a way to go, next step on the path. Doesn't mean they're right. That's why I say bless them. Thank you. Thanks for trying to help. I'll assess what you said, and it may be something I can use. It may be timely. It may not be.
Yep. Holly.
I'm thinking about the castle analogy again. Asking yourself, what role am I currently allowing this person to play in my life? And what role should I be allowing them to play in my life? Take this as, once again, this is not necessarily about judging them. It's just about, oh, you've just shown me who you are. You've just given me some information to evaluate who you are. And, there's people who are in your tribe that get to see your process, that get to see you when you're vulnerable, that get to, be your cheerleaders, whatever it may be. There are certain people that have earned the right to have that role in your life. And then there are some people so you got to ask yourself a couple things. First of all, is this somebody that I share finances with that has an actual vested stake in this? Are they, they might get a little bit more of a say, a little bit more of a conversation than somebody who, they say, a prophet is never honored in his own country. It's that idea of the people who changed your diapers might have trouble understanding that you might have something valuable and useful to say. As just one example. So, how would you, and so, sorry, I'm kind of rambling a little bit here, but this concept of Zen, I often think about, with the Kuji, it's this idea of when you're on a higher plane, the higher plane you're on and the understanding you have is literally invisible to people who are not in that plane with you at that moment. And so you might see the possibilities, you might see what you want, the goal, everything. They can't see it, and so they're giving you the best advice they have from their perspective. Now, if it's somebody who's just genuinely ahead of you, who can look down and see the terrain, yeah, say, you know what? I trust what you're saying. I see where you're at. Give me the advice. But if it's somebody who's down below you, who's looking up and genuinely can't see anything, their intentions may be good, but their ability to give you useful feedback is zero. Would you trust a 2-year-old to give you career advice? It's not because you have no respect for the 2-year-old. It's not because you don't love the 2-year-old. But the competency just isn't there, no matter what their intentions may be. And so, ask yourself, am I responding to this? Like, is it just that they're trying to drain my energy? Are they a leech on my energy and I need to have healthy boundaries? And tell them, sorry, I'm not going to spend quality time around you at the moment. You don't have to say it in those words necessarily, but, or are you actually believing in them? Are you actually buying into what they're saying? And if so, are you reminding yourself, hey, this person might be down below and they can't even see the plane. Why am I taking advice from somebody who doesn't even understand what's going on?
Yep.
Okay. To piggyback on that, remember, for a lot of people, change is a scary thing. Especially when they see a loved one changing. One metaphor that I heard that really hit hard was, if you tell a loved one or a couple of loved ones that you're going to run a marathon and you've never run a marathon before, they're going to be the ones standing along the pathway throwing sticks at you, throwing sticks at your feet while you're trying to run the marathon. And it'll be the strangers that are cheering you on, which is pretty messed up when you think about it. But on the other hand, the strangers don't know your perceived limitations or who you were before. They probably have no idea this is your first marathon. So they believe that you can do it. And your friends and family are probably afraid that you'll do it. Because then what? If you finish the marathon, well, then who are you then? And who are we to you? And if you win the marathon, well, then what's going to happen? And so you got to deal with that part as well. That's why sometimes they say it's hard to go back home. Because they will probably try to go, well, okay, you did your little thing. Now you just need to climb back into this little box that we built for you. And you don't fit in the box anymore. And that will disrupt them, because a lot of times it's also a mirror in front of them. There's probably a lot of things that they wanted to do. And oh my gosh, there you are doing them, proving to them it can be done. Well, how dare you prove that it can be done and that it was me. So there's a lot of different things that happen when you start evolving, growing, and accomplishing.
Oh, yes.
Mark.
Let's see. When when people are telling you, Lenore, the sky is falling, my response to that is, really? And then I have to ask myself, how invested are these other people in your life, your journey, your worth? No one's has ever invested, in your life as much as you are. And if you can make things happen, make stuff happen, but people will always tell you, oh, you can't do that. You shouldn't do that. Don't do that. What they're really saying, they're projecting, and they're saying, I couldn't do that.
There.
I shouldn't do that. I won't, but you don't listen to the people that tell you the sky is falling, because probably not.
Yep.
Mhm.
Thank you, everyone.
Welcome. Cool. Get everything answered, or is it time for now is it time for somebody else to, or you got another question, or who's got another question, another topic? Let's keep this rolling. Keep it rolling, rolling, rolling. Mark.
I wouldn't say this is original because you gave it to me earlier tonight, TJ. But it might have been a little bit of a Freudian slip with your client that's finishing up the PPP protocol. But what is the difference between retirement and graduation? You kind of waffled between the two when you were talking, and I was like, huh, do you ever, retire from the field, of victory, or do you graduate to the next level, to the next challenge? So, if you're curious, people would comment on that. Retirement versus graduation.
Great question. Who's got an answer? Really? There we go. Lenora.
I was trying to click my little raise your hand button. I love that one. That is such a good one. I don't like the word retirement because it sounds,
I would say it's always graduation. Is this so?
I don't know. I don't know if he popped in. I like the idea of graduation very much. And there's something about retirement that makes it seem exhausted and worn out and almost like your creativity is depleted. So I like the idea of graduation, and I'm definitely going to be using that one going forward.
Awesome. Holly.
I love that. So my first thought, of course, too, with graduation is graduation. You're always graduating to the next level to graduate again. With retirement, well, let's go with the graduation. Graduation is often a beginning, whereas retirement might be considered kind of the end of whatever that phase of your life is. But I loved what Lillian Bridges calls it. So for those of you who don't know, there's a line that appears on your chin that she calls the retirement line. But I also heard her call it the transition line. Yeah. And I loved that because it's not that you're done with everything. It just means, hey, this chapter is now completed, so I can move on to the next chapter. And, with any book, the previous chapter and the current chapter are going to be linked. One builds on the other. But it's just, hey, this phase of my life has been fulfilled, and now I'm ready to go fulfill myself in another phase of life. And I think the big thing with retirement, when you look at it from that the retirement line, when it shows up is when you're refusing to retire because you're so worried that the last phase of life is the only phase of life you'll ever have that you don't think that it's okay to embrace the next phase of life. And so, graduation is, hey, I learned something and I'm ready to apply it into the next phase of life. And retirement can be kind of similar, but retirement is recognizing, hey, I'm ready to transition because I have fulfilled this chapter and it's okay to go into the next one. The other thing that pops into my mind, though, is recognizing that there is meaning in the next chapter, because some people, when they retire, that can be the most dangerous time in someone's life. Because if they think that they only had one chapter and they lose their reason to live, they lose their will to live. They don't exercise, they don't eat right, they don't continue to meet up with friends, they don't have a purpose in life. Yeah. And that can be soul crushing. So when you hit retirement, it's not the end of life. It's just the end of that phase to prepare you for the next phase.
Absolutely.
As always, Holly, great stuff. Anybody else before I throw in my 2 centavos? Nope. Mark, thank you for bringing this up because, I would not call um, the end of the triple P protocol retirement at all. It is definitely a graduation because, as it has been pointed out, it's graduating from a what I'm going to call a curriculum, and you can keep studying and graduating this curriculum and graduating that class and graduating this one and keep moving on. My wife retired from being a city manager about, what was it, 5 years ago, 6 years ago. So I always joke that she went from working 60 hours a week to now only working 85 hours a week in what she calls her encore. And many of the people in the field of city management and stuff like that, almost all of them seem to have picked up an encore. The idea of retirement doesn't sit well with them. They've got to be doing something. And I've watched, because mom, right, mom, in doing assisted care living, when people retire and bring on that mindset, just like Holly pointed out, and they don't have a purpose to get out of bed, they don't have a place to go to fraternize with people and interact, oftentimes you will see their health decline at a rapid rate. Because their mind is gone, well, why do we have to keep this up? It's the final winter. And the ones that keep going on and refuse to retire, they're the ones that we had one lady that worked at a local grocery store. I hate to say it, she was old when I was young. But she needed to work. That was her thing. And the best part of it, and the studies are out and they're showing that more grocery stores now are willing to have the conversation checkout lane because they understand the importance of community. If you got to get in and out with your half a gallon of milk and you don't want no chit chat, do not go through that lane. That's where the retirees come every day to pick up a couple of donuts and a half gallon of milk maybe, and so this or that, anything they can think of so they can go shopping 4 times a week to go through that lane and have some human interaction. Mark.
Again, you gave me another question. This would be a great one to ask your clients. Once they've accomplished anything in treatment, to ask them, so what's your encore? You know, and an encore, and I was just thinking about it while you were talking, is that's usually when the best stuff is reserved. The musicians come out on stage and play the song that everybody's been waiting all night to hear. And they're tired, they're exhausted, but they're uplifted by the crowd, and they deliberately hold back that encore, that best of themselves. And that would be a great question to ask your clients. So what's your encore?
What's your encore?
I like that.
Oh, just another thought with this topic. I don't know how many of you have heard of professional student syndrome. But when we're thinking about, graduating, there are some people who just are so afraid to live life that they keep going back for another degree, another degree, another degree, another degree, and will not stop learning from that perspective because they're afraid to actually go out in the real world and have real life experience. So graduation's beautiful because it's that moment where you're saying, hey, I'm ready to start real life. But graduation is when you learn the principles, you learn the basics, but you know it a lot intellectually. Retirement is when you say, hey, I've actually lived a life in the real world and had real world experiences. So they both have their place. They're both beautiful, but, don't be so caught up in graduation is more important than retirement. So I can't even start my career because I got to make sure that I just constantly am going back to school and never actually applying, never actually have real world experiences.
Mm-hmm. And I would implore any of you, take a little time, go to your local assisted living location, aka retirement home, whatever, and spend a little time with some of the residents there. The amount of if they're still clear-minded and they are there because their bodies can't allow them to function and live alone, the information, the knowledge that is in those places is incredible. With all the years that Mom was around those people, and I'd go visit Mom and I'd get to know some of them, some of the most amazing stories and information and knowledge was there. It was really cool. Mark.
This kind of cuts across a lot of the topics this evening about, dealing with, when we're stymied or when we're blocked or, and, a great philosopher in the season of winter, passed along. Just squirrel whispered in my ears, and he said, when you're in the season of the winter, you got to remember one thing and one thing only: bumbles bounce.
What?
Bumbles bounce.
Yes.
That's a really cute one.
Yeah, again, you have to remember that when you're in the season of winter, is that, resilience, stick-to-itiveness, evolution. It's, if you're in the winter season, you got to remember, okay, bumbles bounce.
Yep.
I can bounce back. I can be resilient. So a lot of wisdom in some of the children's stuff.
Exactly.
I like the one, put one foot in front of the other.
Yeah. Or like Jordan Peterson pointed out, if you end up at a Y in the road and you don't know which way to go, just pick one. Go.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's the wrong one, you'll know. But you'll know with knowledge that you didn't have back at the split. And if you can get yourself over to the other road, you'll know better why you are there. Holly.
Speaking of winter, another thought that keeps coming to my mind is the importance of honoring the winters in your life and honoring the healing process. Because I think sometimes we're so focused on, I need to run this race. And then it's like, oh, I dislocated my leg. Well, I mean, you could take it two extremes. One extreme you could say is, oh, I dislocated my leg. I can never accomplish anything ever again. I'm just going to sit here and do nothing. But the other thing you could do is say, oh, I can't lose any time. I got to keep running. I got to keep running. And sometimes, you need to get the cast. You need to do the physical therapy. The best thing for you to do, your job is to take care of yourself. Self-care is a goal. It's important. And you're going to end that race a lot faster if you heal properly than if you decide to just keep running and not get that proper healing process. So, you know, it's okay to have a winter. It's okay to slow down. It's okay to do self-care. That season is just as important as every other season.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And one of my squirrels just brought up a little deal from Jim Rohn where he said, the saying, you take care of me, I take care of you. No. I'll take care of me for you if you will take care of you for me. You are not my responsibility. I am not your responsibility. Or like I like to say, airline rule. When the oxygen mask drops, you put it on yourself first, or you won't be able to help anybody else. Become a burden, or worse.
Yep.
So, anybody else? New topic, new question?
I have a new topic.
Awesome.
I don't know if anybody else has been paying much attention to 3-Eye Atlas lately. I find that people I ask about it, either they know absolutely nothing, like it's just not happening, or they're like, yeah, it's really cool, and I can feel the energy shift and this and that. So I'm fascinated by this, and I thought I'd ask the group to see if they have had any connection to that, any feelings. For me, it seems like it's a part of this energetic shift that I'm feeling that's on the planet. And I don't know, it just feels like a good thing, like something fantastic is going to happen or is happening right now. And just wondering if anybody else had any insights, thoughts, feelings, whatever on that.
Awesome. So who's got an answer for that?
Nobody.
Nobody knows what the 3-Eye Atlas is.
The comet that may not actually be a comet because it's acting like a very unusual comet and may in fact have perhaps some interstellar travelers aboard. Apparently there was you know how they're always listening to outer space, right? They're always listening for whatever, something from other life forms. And in 1977, they heard a 72-second, it was a tone, some kind of tone generation. And they said it was done in a way that if you wanted to communicate, it was like a mathematical thing. You know, if you wanted to communicate with other life forms in the universe, this is what that you would broadcast. And it happened in 77 for 72 seconds and then stopped. And one of the strange things is that it came exactly or in the direction of where this comet came from. So I don't know, it just seemed very fascinating, at least. You know, and I listened to Bashar quite a bit, and he's talking about first contact happening very soon, and something undeniable that will happen that will show us that in fact that there are and have been extraterrestrial beings here a lot on the planet, and they're back to help us because left to our own devices, we may just implode. Yeah. I think they're back to make sure that Earth, which they've invested a great deal of time and effort into making it this magical place that it is, and they don't want to see it destroyed by the egos of human beings.
Yes. Mark.
I'm of two minds about that, Greg. First one is it would be nice to think that you know, other races are looking out for us and that we are maybe we're somebody's lab experiment, um, and that we would like to project the idea that we would care, they would care enough about us, you know. And from the scientific point of view, like I said, our models are terrible. We can't even figure out how planets form and how the solar system is working and all the things that are patently wrong with our models. It shifted, it shifted direction. It didn't do it hasn't done anything that would, as far as I know, that would clearly indicate intelligence. Okay. Oh, its path seems to bring us close to these two planets. Well, it's not coming to Earth, that's for sure. But we always seem to want to hope that there are, if there are, my philosophy about that is that there are, again, we have a bipedal species on this planet. The number of variables that would have to occur that would, somewhere else in the galaxy or in the universe that would result in a bipedal species, because that's what all the grays and they're all bipedal. My philosophy is if there are, life forms that we see, they're probably earlier versions of us. The latest speculation is that humanity's gone, it goes back like 1 million years. But it was only the last 6,000 that we actually, developed the ability to form civilizations. I'm not buying that model either. But, could we have developed a spacefaring race on this planet, 500,000 years ago, and they went out to the stars, and then, muscles become atrophied, eyes get bigger, the heads get bigger, and a lack of gravity, and then they come back and they look like these grays? Yeah, I think that's at least a reasonable, hypothesis. But as far as we would like to think that these aliens are, they're here to take care of us or whatever. Again, again, we like to project the idea that we would actually have, races, other races on other planets that would actually give a rat's ass about us. There's a poem I remembered in high school that and it was in my English book, and it goes like this. They must have been a very advanced people, mused the Martian astronomer gazing off into the atmosphere. The fact that they were able to annihilate themselves so completely proves how advanced they were. So, yeah, I think we're kind of on our own with this stuff, and we're going to have to figure it out. And then maybe, like I said, there may be earlier versions of us that maybe, again, and maybe that's why they don't want to do the autopsies. And if they did have aliens and they did the autopsy and they found out they had human blood, they'd be like, we can't tell people they're us. They're just more advanced versions of us. No, we can't tell them that. So, we again, but there are more questions, which is a delightful thing, than answers. But it's great to speculate, and great to, but as far as like I said, as far as our we will eventually move. If Elon has his way, we'll go to Mars, and then beyond that, and we will eventually get out there, and we'll find out that there might be others. But the fact that that we'd have a bipedal species with the brain on the top, and again, that's a miracle on top of a million miracles that another bipedal species would evolve somewhere else in this galaxy. Yep. Even with the number of planets that have probably got life on them, the variables that would have to occur. Again, we got again, you put an ape species, any ape species, monkeys in water, they stand on two legs. Do that for 1,000,000 years, you get a bipedal species. So that's how I think our ancestors evolved. All the way back from when we, I kind of like the aquatic ape theory that's out there. Anybody wants to look it up? We kind of, I think we kind of evolved in a watery environment, but
Hmm.
yeah, like I said, it's interesting to speculate. It's interesting to, look at all the possibilities. Again, discount nothing, and but yeah, I think if we're gonna, if humanity's gonna be saved, it's gonna be saved by us. So
Well, for sure, we have to be a big part of it. You know, the trajectory that we're on, I don't know. Part of it seems not too promising, but it seems like there's a group of people like us, like-minded, more conscious, aware, willing to go beyond, to think beyond, to do beyond, to be attempt to be their greater selves in the interest of all. Um, I think that even though the group is not large, it's very powerful. I just been lately in this place of uh, uh, allowing myself to see more than I thought I was capable of seeing in the past, perhaps. That I've been given certain gifts to see, to be aware, to have a certain level of consciousness, um, and I'm much more aware of energies. I mean, I always have been, but especially the last year, I would say. Uh, so when things like this are occurring, it's like I can't ignore it. And I don't really speculate too much, but I'm just kind of watching and wondering, and it's not even hope. It's exciting to a certain degree that we can evolve into a species that drops away things like hatred and greed and control and power over others. And perhaps we need a big event, like, another species coming here and going, just to say, look, you're not the only ones, here, and like you're part of a bigger structure, and you are important, you are powerful, like, like just wake people up, like, holy crap, like, wow, we're not alone. It may just help people just break beyond their limited egos, their mind-made selves now. So, I don't know. To me, it's very exciting.
Another thing is
absolutely.
all of the activity that's going on in solar and energetic. Uh, uh, Nancy texted me just before she left. She was heading out because the northern lights right now in Minnesota are just
She
popping.
sent it to me. It's stunning.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, pretty much what you see behind Mark's panda head there is what's happening naturally in the sky in Minnesota right now.
Really.
Yep.
Very wild.
I've been blessed to witness northern lights many times in my life, and it's really hard to think that we created all this stuff when you go out and you see stuff like that.
Kidding. No kidding.
Holly.
I find this whole conversation absolutely fascinating. One of the things that went through my mind is, when we talk about a topic like this, like, what specifically are each of us projecting onto it, and what do we hope it is? What do we want it to be? And so, like, for instance, this could be very good entertainment. It could be, I want to understand the mysteries of the universe, and this is
Hmm.
an answer to that. Or is it, hey, like us, I think of like Star Trek and First Contact of, hey, we're finally ready to take our place as part of the, they would always be watching civilizations waiting till they were at the point where they could be joining the Federation or whatever the case may be, and know that there's more out there. And, oh, is this the moment that we're going to graduate to that point? Or are they coming to, give us help because we're about to go off a cliff or whatever the case may be? I think it's all fascinating. It's all interesting. But the big question is, does it make a difference? And, you know, is it if we need to save our world or whatever it may be, what are we doing now? Because I will say, I do believe each of us are extraterrestrial in origin as well. So we already have extraterrestrial, sources here to
Yes.
help build the world, to help us level up, to do all that sort of thing. I will also just say too, I think that most people are followers. So
Yeah.
if even 10% of us do the best we can in our own sphere, even if we're just doing that example, I think other people will follow. So never underestimate, we may look and see the stuff that's, breaking, that seems harder. Sometimes it's, breaking because it has to break for us to get to the next level, whatever it may be. But if we take responsibility in our own sphere for building our part of it, it doesn't matter what they are. It will make a difference when we're doing what we can in our sphere. But I still find it absolutely fascinating, and what could it mean and all that sort of thing.
No, I agree wholeheartedly. Yes. People are generally, we're sheeples, right? Followers,
Yep.
but just like a um, packs of sheep can be led, people, isn't it primal that we feel safe in a pack and following others, like we don't have to do much. I'll just stay in the group and the group will protect me, but the group can be swayed in certain directions, any direction, depending upon the general consensus, right? So,
Getting right off a cliff.
yeah, well, we've seen that happen before. Sadly, but
Mm.
That's why I
I
like
think we are
having
the
a tribe
special
of
ones. I think we're again, I think we're in the evolutionary spear tip, and
yeah,
people have to again, we're the teachers, we're the um, the ones that point to the stars, and with a sense of wonder and what's going on around us. And I think
yeah,
we're in that evolutionary spear tip. We're special ones, and we have to recognize that we have to lead by example, lead by and let I'm not I don't want to be Gandhi. I don't want to. I'd just like to fix the world one person at a time.
yeah. Starting with ourselves, right?
Damn right.
Yeah, yeah. This like I like that spear tip analogy. That this is fairly new to me, but there's this certain stuff going on in me, feelings like, and I've learned to trust it more. It just seems too big and too strong to ignore. And of course, my old ego, which has quieted down quite a bit, goes, "Well, what are you talking about? You're just like everybody else. Like you're not so different or so special or anything like that." But at the same time, it's like it's kind of, I guess it's kind of hard to integrate this newness, right, into my life. There's definitely a certain level of trust and faith here, but it's like it's a path I'm walking on, and each step is new. Each time I put my foot, like Lenore was saying, one foot in front of the other, it's like, okay, I know I need to take this next step and trust where I'm going, and that perhaps I could be leading some other people. And that's scary, because I don't want to lead others like over the cliff, right? But yet I have these feelings, and they're very strong, that I've been given something. I've been shown something. Like I can do some good. I can shine a light on things, especially to help people to find themselves. That's like paramount. You know, um, I,
Do
I
not go where the
I
path
once wrote,
leads. Go where there is no path, and leave a trail.
yeah, right, yeah, yeah. I wrote once you shit, I can never remember my own stuff. Um, when you find yourself, like then, uh, like all else will be shown, like all else will be. It'll be obvious. Who you are, what you need to do, what you need to share, how you need to be. You know. So anyway, it's a very unique, interesting, fascinating, exciting time, at least for me, and I'm just going with it. I'm just going, and without attachment, it's like, wow, it's like I'm on this ride and I don't know where it's going exactly, but I'm definitely holding on and enjoying it, and paying attention to the signs along the path, and interactions with other people, and like the synergies, I see 11:11, like every time it's 11:11, I see it. I'm looking at the clock, or 1:11 or 10:10 or 3:33. It's like the universe is kind of going, yes, you're doing okay. You're paying attention. Stay where you are. Keep moving forward. Everything's good. You'll be shown, like that. So I don't know. I've just been very excited lately. Oh,
And it's interesting. I think we probably take that for granted. And when, you see some people and you chat and all of a sudden you look and you go, oh, it's 11:11. They're like, oh, yeah, okay. And you realize that to them it's just a novelty or a whatever.
yeah.
And yeah, the number of times that I would love to be able to see easily how many of us in this tribe, yeah, Guillermo just said he sees it more often as well.
Hmm.
How many of us in this tribe, in this mindset, in what's going on here, actually, how many of us just are experiencing that more and more?
Hmm.
I mean, I'll wake up out of a dead sleep, and I've got one of those clocks that projects the time on the ceiling.
Yep, me too.
Bing, open my eyes, 3:33. I'm like,
Yeah, right.
okay, go back to sleep.
Just smile and go back to sleep, right?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. I think the more
Michael
we do
added
this
in
work,
the
the more.
comments, you find what you're looking for, and we are looking for signs we are on the right path. And
Oh, yes. We all need to be encouraged, especially when we're doing stuff like this that's just wild, out of the ordinary. It's like, yeah, thank you. I go, thank you. I see the clock. Oh, thanks, thanks. Like I'm being encouraged, and I need, like everybody else, I need to be encouraged, especially doing things that are very unusual, out of the ordinary, you know. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
We're all extraordinary, and that just means extraordinary.
Hmm. Yeah,
I've,
yep.
I've
Amen.
pointed that out a couple of times.
I'm finding more and more that how amazingly powerful we are. I just it's just stunning that when you find out, when you realize, right? Realize, you remember, and there are signs along the way now that, my God, like Jesus, I mean, a long time ago, he said, "This you shall do and more." I'm just showing you the tip of the iceberg by what I'm doing, what you guys are capable of, right? And when you start seeing that, it's like, holy crap, it's like I did too much of a certain drug. And it's like, whoa, I have to like breathe through it. The energy is so amazing. Just like the simple, the Ho'oponopono prayer, which I say all day long. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. That is so amazing when you know what that means and the power of that. That's like what I'm talking about. That's one of the powers that we possess, that we can see something on TV or across the street or drive by a fender bender or people are like arguing. You can say that. That's our power. We don't have to be in their purview. You energetically, you're shining a light on something and you're saying, God, universe, some assistance is required here. And I'm seeing it and like, okay, now you handle the details. The things that have happened in my life, just saying that prayer, have been phenomenal. And the more I do it, the more I'm shown, and the more I'm shown, the more I want to do it, and the more I realize how powerful we are. It's truly amazing. Yeah.
And once
I love
again,
this group.
yes, time manipulation is real. We prove it every Tuesday right here, because 2 hours, can you believe 2 hours went by
Yeah.
just like that? Which means it's time for me to, once again, for the 202nd time, to have the privilege to thank you guys for taking your precious commodity of time and being here, being present, sharing your thoughts, your ideas, your input, your knowledge on this platform. And we all know that we all have other things we could be doing. So thank you. I appreciate every one of you, love all of you. And again, if you're watching live for the first time, or if you're watching the recording for the first time, a special thank you. Please go out, share this with other people, and look forward to seeing your beautiful faces back here in 7 glorious days. Until then, just go out, live life, change the world for better, even if it's just one person at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and love you, Mom. See you guys.
Good night, all.
Night, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, TJ.
Thank you, guys.